Well, welcome all to the Big Apple District Roundtable for September. We're all really pleased to have you here. And I'd like everyone now to, if you're in uniform, to go ahead and give the Scout Hand salute. And if you're not in uniform, go ahead and put your hand over your heart. And District Director Jason Toledano will lead us in his own version of the national anthem.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. That was great. That was a little Jimi Hendrix done Jason Toledano style. Very cool. I want to take a moment to just pause for a second and think a little bit about the notorious RBG, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. No matter where we stand on where she is politically, she was a force to contend with. And it seems like in a moment like this, when we're respecting important people, including our flag and the civic duty of our country, no one represented it better than the kinds of things that Ruth Bader Ginsburg did over and over again for the last 40 years on the Supreme Court. So if you'd all pause with me for a moment and let's just take a moment and think about her, that would be a great way of respecting that. Thank you so much, and welcome to the BA District Roundtable for September. And we're going to go right into the program right now. Tonight, the theme of the program is Program on Program. And how do we come in the age of COVID-19 to a new life and a new normal? And how do we make outdoor work? So I'm going to turn it over first to Kim Salvo, who's going to tell us a little bit about the rank kits in a box. Take it away.
Hi, everybody. So you had a little bit of this information. I hope everyone's doing well through this whole thing, by the way. So we had a little bit of information on the rank kits at our previous roundtable, and then you got a little bit of a preview at Stake Inn for those that attended that. And this is just a little bit more details because this is all becoming a reality. If I can share my screen, I can pull up, I just posted in the chat the link to the ordering page.
We see that. Good.
So that's there. And so this is that link. You can watch this video on your own. It gives you a little bit of the history of the rank kit that happened through the summer and what it looks like today. It has every question possibly that you could ask because we went through this with tooth and comb. But the bottom line is this one, which says, how much will they cost? Because that's what everyone always wants to know. So GNYC was able to price these out at $55 a box. Guys, this is just for Cub Scouts, so bear with us if you're not part of a pack. So at $55 a box with an incentive to get a almost $10 discount if you order 5 or more kits from the same den. And basically what you're getting is a box, may or may not look like this. Inside, it contains packets for each and every adventure advancement required and one elective in order for a scout to earn their rank. So if you take a look at the Tiger requirements, it will have 6 packets, each dedicated to each of the 6 adventure requirements that they have to go through, along with one elective. Guide by guide, step-by-step instructions. Some of these advancements have an outdoor component, and that's something else that we'll talk about. All the materials, so the supplies, the kits, the crafts, the activity sheets, the stuff that the kids need to have it done. So that's where the value of the box comes in. Some of the things that you're getting in here are $7 retail items. Like in the bear requirement for Baloo the Builder, you're getting 2 woodworking kits. Along with safety goggles and, lots and lots of instructions and how to get through all these requirements. I'm going to show you the video of the Tiger requirements. And actually, you can see that video. Now, let's scratch that. You can see that video on that page. It's part of the dialogue on the video that's there. But this is intended 1 box per scout. There is information on how to order them. There's information on how to pick them up once you need to get them. There is a shipping charge if you need them shipped. If you're going 100% virtual, you can have the boxes shipped straight to the scout's home. If you're going to meet in some capacity, you can have them shipped to a central location. But it's basically all of the programming for each den per box handed to you on a silver platter so that your den leader or even a parent can go through it with their scout and get through all these requirements. So I don't know if we have any questions in the chat.
I don't see any questions in the chat at this moment. Is there anybody else who has a quick thought?
Does anyone want to raise their hand and put in on this? Kind of a crash explanation. But that homepage does really explain all the nitty-gritty on it.
Kim,
Tony G just said it was a wonderful idea, and I agree. Yep.
Hey, Kim, Louise is chiming in.
Yeah, Kim.
Yes.
I read on there that there would be information in each of the boxes on the cyber chip and Bobcat. Is it in each box?
It's in each box, yes. Because everyone needs to either earn or reboot their cyber chip. And then if you're a new scout, the Bobcat information is in there just in case.
Okay.
So that is correct. So thank you. That's also included in there. And if you want an idea of what the worksheets look like, here you can see in the Bear Den, that's 3rd grade, Bear Claws, that's their pocket knife safety lessons. This is what the leader sheet looks like. So it lists out, these are the requirements that are in the handbook. And then it goes on to explain blow by blow how to get through each of the activities in order to earn your whittling chip in the Bear Den.
Hey,
and
Kim?
yes.
Are they gonna do a Boy Scout version of this?
So for the troop level, there is an entirely different program that's being assembled that I didn't get myself involved in. So there is just only doing this. And I believe that at the troop level, there's more of an outdoor, an outdoor interactive component. I think that it's similar to what was offered in the summer for TMR Go, but do not hold me to that.
Kim, it's Wayne. I'll talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so you can talk about that. Okay, but what we do have as part of the Cub Scout programming, we have an outdoor component in the form of family days on Saturdays at both Alpine and Pouch. And that information is going to be available to everyone. There will be a fee for each youth that is participating in a family day at camp. But they will be working on lots of cool stuff, and who doesn't want to get out and go? The only restrictions are that we're following safety protocol because of COVID, and also it's only the youth that are participating in the activities, and you must attend as a family. A den leader cannot show up with their 10 scouts and make a day of it. So, we're all working with restrictions. But this rank kit box, if you're going to stay remote and you need your scouts to have all the stuff on hand, this is fabulous. If you are able to meet in person, this is fabulous because everything is in there for you. So that's what we're offering. Not mandatory. You do have to budget in for it when you take your registration and dues, but it's all there for you. So, any more questions? Yes, it does. It does say that they intend on shipping out the week of October 5th. I'm looking at the chat. Instructions are all in there, blow by blow. You don't have to be a trained den leader to follow along. A parent or a guardian can very well take the lead on completing the advancements. And this is 1 year's worth of programming. This isn't like, bust it all open and tear it all apart. This is 1 year's worth of programming to get you all through the fall and the winter and the spring. What else? Okay, so are they available now? When they will be available? So we answered that. And thank you, Pack 777. They look like they're going to be a customer.
There's a cost question again, Kim.
Okay. Yes. So it's $55 per kit per box. It's called a rank kit. It's a physical box. And it is for one scout because within each, so let's say you have your tiger den, it's one material's worth for one scout in each box. So if you have a den of 5 scouts, you would need 5 of these kits in order for everyone to complete the same activities and do the same projects and do the same requirements the same way. What is nice about this, when the Cub Scout program got what I call dummied down, where you weren't required to do every single requirement, and they're doing it more like a merit badge where it says do this and then pick one of these kits contain all of these. So you're really getting your mileage out of it if you choose to do every single thing that's listed on the requirements. We didn't pick and choose which one of those things you're going to do. You're being offered everything on that list, which from my experience, that's really the way to do it because the scouts really get the most out of all these fabulous things that they're learning. Do we have any other questions? So yes, for the older dens, for Weeblos and Hour of Light, their boxes are a little more mature. They're not as spoon-fed in terms of the instructions. So they're set up more like the troop level, where they are responsible for everything in their kit, and there's also a blow-by-blow on how to get through all their programming. So that was that. Weeblos box. All the boxes are $55 each. There's no variation in the cost.
I have a question. I'm sorry to interrupt. How do you approach on the Arrow of Light box? And this is Anna from Pack 729. How do you guys approach the Arrow of Light adventure, specifically the scouting adventure, where they have to go visit a troop and understand how they work, and all those activities that seem kind of challenging when we are not able to meet in person? How would you guys approach that in the box?
Correct. So, so the Arrow of Light box also has items, physical items. Lots of. It has a Leave No Trace pamphlet. It has lots of ropes for all the not requirements. You would, depending on if the troop is meeting in person or virtually, you would associate yourself with the troop and have your scouts have a meeting with the troop. And then to get the outdoor requirements taken care of, because as of right now, the units cannot camp until that restriction is lifted, you would have to participate. That's why start over again. At our camp weekends on the family days, they're offering those skills. So you won't necessarily be interacting with a troop, but you will be doing those skills. And I know it is very challenging, and hopefully by the time spring rolls around, we'll be able to do these things in a more traditional way by the time they get to that advancement. And then that also gives you reason to work on that advancement later on the calendar year when these things will hopefully be more accessible.
Got it. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Great job, Kim. That was so complete. I mean, that's pretty much
okay. I tried. I've been living this stuff for the last 4 weeks, but it's all good.
No one's better than you talking about it. That was great. That was great. Makes me want to get a ring kit. And I don't even really.
Okay, it's pretty cool. It is pretty cool.
Right.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you, Kim. So now we're going to move on to someone. It's actually a great question, Anna, that actually segues into the next person, which is Miles Ramboyang. And Miles is going to talk a little bit about outdoor programming for Cubs and how we make that happen. So you're on, Miles.
Good afternoon, everybody. Miles here with Cub Master Pack 662. Great presentation, Kim. Thanks. I appreciate it. We are, as a pack, going to use your rank kits as it's going to be mandatory for our pack. It'll make it easier for all of our den leaders, also our parents. So when we were going through the process of restarting our scouting safety plan during this COVID time, the first question was trying to figure out who is coming back and who do I have to deal with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this Google form here. This is a quick link of how I created our Google Forms and the questionnaire of who's coming back, what do I need to do, what are people expecting. So I could get a gauge. So this Thursday, we're going to be starting our pack meeting. It's just going to be an orientation. And I'm going to see who will be coming back. But what I've done is I've also started our safety plan with Jason's help. And I'm also going to go ahead and send that link over in the chat. It's a modified version of what he sent out. You all probably have received that in his email, just because our plan and what I've received from our forums is 80% of the people are excited to come back, and there's some people who are not sure if they want to meet in person, which I totally understand. We are definitely going to use the hybrid model of using Google Meets and a combination of still enjoying the outdoors. Scouting, of course, is a social outdoor activity. So on the weekends, we've already met with Boy Scouts on Sunday. It's a good time for a lot of Scouts to meet, and also meeting on our regular meeting on Zoom. So with the combination of our rank kits, again, it's going to help our den leaders run the meeting, but this year I am going to allocate parents to be involved in our Zoom meeting. So even though the den leader is the den leader or the assistant den leader, parents are going to be allocated a week to facilitate each meeting. So trying to get parents involved and not rely on the den leaders so much. So these are some of the activities that we still plan to do. Of course, we're going to use our local parks, our local state services, and we.
I have a question on that.
Miles, you
Yeah.
sent those to me privately. You didn't send that to the entire chat.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, guys. I'll resend that over. Been chatting with my buddy Jason. All right. So I'll go ahead and go ahead.
So, how do you, here's a better question. Louisa might want to join in on this. How do you engage some of the parents that, sometimes might not want to participate? How do you get them to,
Great question.
help out?
Great question. This is a community. So I've been fortunate to be able to meet with a lot of the parents individually and show them the stuff that we've done. I've also sent out forms just understanding what parents' skill sets are. So our format for this year is really simple with how we're going to run our packs. We're doing the virtual flag ceremony. We're going to talk about how everybody's doing during the week for 15 minutes. We're going to be talking about our rank kits and talking about what we've done. So it's going to be like a quick show and tell. And then the last portion is going to be what we're going to be working on the following week. Parents should be able to facilitate that easily. So it's just like any other sport organization or any activity. If I say, Josh, this is your week 13, you have plenty of time to plan.
That's not a bad idea, because that's, one thing that I think we were talking about. So.
Of course. Look, this is a community. We're here together. So I think our scouts love seeing their parents lead. It's great. And that's it. I'm putting those links out. I sent them out to everybody. If anybody has any questions, you shoot me a message or a text. I'm more than happy to share any of this stuff. But I've automated a lot of the things. So if you have any questions about my forms I use, they're auto replies using Google Docs. I don't use Zoom because everybody complains about the cost. Hey, nobody complains about buying anything free, and that's what Google is for.
There's a great question here from Efren, actually, about the cost of the kits that's in the chat. And what do you do when you have like a paywall with a family who may face a financial challenge when you're requiring that from all of them? And that's a big question. And I was thinking we could, if you can hold on to that, Efren, you can bring it up again at the end here. I think that's an excellent question. And it's something we should talk about, but I think it needs some time. But Miles, I really, I just want to commend the idea of the community concept and getting all your parents involved by having them all run that program separately. That's kind of a brilliant idea. I just wanted to let you know that I think that's good job. You're doing the thing,
Appreciate it. Thank you. Look, again, it's a community. I know one of the things, the questions came up about financial challenges. We've raised a lot of money. We're very fortunate. Our dues are $200. We've dropped it to $150 this year. If anybody has any problems, they talk to me separately, and they definitely get scholarships. So we've been blessed.
I hope you're sticking around for the end, because that would be great to have continue that conversation about all the solutions you guys are coming up with, Miles.
Sure.
All right, great. So moving on from there, that was a perfect segue from Kim to Miles and the solution of doing it practically. And then we're moving on to the troops. So what I have here is a combination of my Roundtable team. They're all combining together to give us the best of what they've got. So I would like to start with Antonio de Rosario and Tia Henry, however you guys are working it out, and welcome them all to give us some sense of what troops are doing in the outdoors.
Thank you, Neil. Tia, are you able to share your screen?
Yes.
Great. So let's start that, and let's start with the video. So one of the things that we wanted to inspire everyone is Scoutmaster Brian Edwards and Assistant Scoutmaster Dr. Matt Roberts and Executive Chair Robin Poulos put together an incredible program at Central Park. So just watch. Go ahead.
You guys went around that way. What? What kind of knot are you working on? The bow line. The bow line. Did you do yours, Leonardo? Yeah, I did the first. Yeah? This is the bow line. What is the bow line used for? The most useful. The most useful knot. The most useful knot. Even if you want to like get out of the river? Yeah. Come around one more time. Okay, now remember how to fold it? Grab the bottom. Together. Those, I feel good about making the video. Now, wrap it right.
I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey that law. Alpha, Bravo, Aquarius, Prime, Obedience, Cheerful, Cherokee, Brave, Clean, and Reckless. Thank you. It took me about an hour to put that together. It's just on iPhone, but I've also posted it on all social media, LinkedIn, as a and Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. So you guys can use that as just a general recruiting video that's real. That's not highly produced. So Tia is going to put together the PowerPoint presentation that we have. And we're just going to talk through it. And as she does that, I just wanted to say it was incredible. I'm an assistant scoutmaster for Troop 662 and a Cub Master Pack 290. And I actually used that video to show our packs as well, because it's in the same spirit. And we're going to meet also at Central Park. One of the things that I'm finding talking with Cub Masters and Scout Masters is they're afraid to meet in person. As long as you're approved by GNYC and as long as you're safe, you saw everyone was wearing a mask. It's mandatory. And there was an activity that focused them. As an ASM, I just simply went around and talked to them, and none of that was staged. When I was asking what kind of knot you're working on, they started talking about the usefulness of the knot, and all of those things that they were working on some of them were required to become second class. There were a lot of signing offs. My 11-year-old just ranked up to tenderfoot. He just had his order review. And my 14-year-old is almost first class. He is one requirement away. They're both very ambitious, and they're both and without me getting in the way. I mean, I encourage them, go and get things done. But I don't really need to push them because the setup is there. So I wanted to show you guys that so you can be inspired to not be afraid, be brave to meet in person, but outdoors. We don't have any access to our indoor, I don't know about you guys, but my school and the church for both the troop and the pack, we don't have any access. Now that the slide presentation is up, I'm going to have Tia talk about it.
Antonio, I have some questions for you. This is Richard Cacciato from Troop 1.
Go ahead, Richard.
A couple of questions. Can you post the link to the video? Because I don't know where it is. If you did, okay. The second question is, if you met in Central Park, it's my understanding that you need to get a permit if you have more than 10 or 15 people. Did you do that?
That is a question because I didn't put that together. It was the executive chair. My Cubs is probably not going to be more than that, so I won't need to get permission from the parks. But I'll ask for you, Richard. I'll ask our executive chair. She's the one who put that together.
If you could, we went to a birthday party a few years ago, and the park rangers showed up and shut it down. So we're a little cautious about that.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
But congratulations. It looks like you did a wonderful job. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, I just helped, like in the peripheral. The people who put it together were those three that I mentioned, and I'm just enamored by what they've been doing the past 5 years before we even showed up. And my kids are just, this is how I motivate my kids. If they don't do their homework, they're out of scouts. So that's how they love scouting so much that they don't jeopardize their opportunity to do that. Thank you, Richard. Tia,
sure.
Go ahead.
Okay, good. All right. I'm also, a parent. I do have, a role in the troop there, but I didn't have anything to do with organizing it. So really, I'm just touting the excellent leadership that I've seen. It's just a really difficult time, and I feel like anything that we can do to provide normalcy for the families and the kids is huge. So this is just basically about that, and what we saw are things that we could share with you guys to go forward. So let's.
Well, there's one other point. This is Richard again. Thank you, Tia. There's one other point, which is most people don't even know that Scouts exist in New York City. In fact, actually, I've had people ask me, they've been surprised. They've said, didn't the Boy Scouts close down because of the whole bankruptcy question? So I think anything that we do, like you did, outside where people see that there are Scouts is actually extremely helpful in terms of our getting the word out and helping with recruiting, which is a critical thing. So, so I think that we all need to do these things. So thank you.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think in general, the organization is its own best promotion. To see the kids around in their uniforms and things like that is really a big deal. And I have questions like that too. Parents will ask because they know I'm involved with Scouts, what's happening, and we just have to keep providing that base of confidence. I think it makes a big difference. Not to mention, COVID or otherwise, honestly, it's like the best deal as far as children's activities in the city anyway, honestly. So that's actually probably going to become even more important as this all goes on. So let's see, here we go. All right. So, I think maybe a lot of the things that we talked about will probably echo a lot of what Miles has already said. But, we have our parameters. Some of them are challenging and there's nothing we can really much do about it. But we just have to find some sort of equilibrium that makes everyone comfortable. So we can't go camping, but we can do a myriad of other outdoor activities as long as we keep in mind those social distancing parameters. As Miles mentioned, we do have to make sure that you do put your plan in place. And Miles offered a option there, and I've seen our option too. It's actually not really, in my opinion, it's not difficult, but it's a comfort level that you want to share with the parents. I, as a recipient of the plan that signed it for my child to attend, it definitely made me feel comfortable that they were interested in his safety. And also when we got there, they kept up those same parameters in place, like make sure you do your form, which Miles showed you, and we do a similar form for one of my kids' schools. That's awesome. And they really there was hand sanitizer there. Everyone had the masks on that they had mentioned. So just kind of being consistent, and everybody knows this is not normal, but I think that if we just present everything as consistent and as happily, I guess, as we can, then, that's the best thing that we can do. Because frankly, I think a lot of the kids are sick of, they're zoomed out. My kids are zoomed out for sure. And so it'd be nice. It's nice if we can provide any kind of alternative. So some of the things that we can do, there's hiking. They did the flag ceremony that you guys saw in the presentation. This is definitely a great opportunity for team building, for the kids to show leadership within their individual groups. They had knots there. As long as we do things like use individual tools, for example, then it's a perfectly acceptable activity to have them do things together, even though they're technically separate, if that makes sense. And also I love Miles's idea of a community there with the creating opportunity for leadership and ingenuity. Get the parents more involved if you can, get the kids more leaders of their own fate, I guess, by helping them participate in an outdoor setting. And also just review the merit badge opportunities that are available and see what we can do that aligns with what's available at the moment. Maybe this was just my own conversation I had to have with myself, but it's not so much about what we can't do, it's about what we can do. And I think there's exceptions to everything. We're not going to be doing any swimming badges anytime soon. It's too cold for that. But there's other things that we can do instead. Want to make sure that we have alternative venues that we're looking at. So for example, for this particular troop, there was some cleaning that we're going to be doing out in the Rockaways this year that we found. So, any kind of outdoor activity that we can have. And we're supposed to be, as scouts anyways, be prepared is, a huge, motto of ours. So when we're going outside, even though it's the Northeast, if the kids are prepared in proper attire, that's kind of part of the deal of being in this group. If we were camping and it was raining, we wouldn't go home, right? So we can go to Central Park or whatever camp park will have us. Richard has a good point. If we need permits, then we do that. But we can do these things with our down jackets on if we need to. If we have the kids running around and everything like that, we should be fine. We have to just remember to support our families, remember why the kids and their adults chose scouting. I choose it. Really, actually, the outdoor component is the biggest part for me anyway. And so that's great that we're just trying to find a way to do it. We can't go camping, we can do other things. But also just, people have a certain trust level in the scouting organization if that's something that you've been involved with for a while. So we just want to make sure we have that communication with the families, that we're still here, or to your point, Richard, we hi, welcome back. We are still here. We're available for you. We are family organization, and we'd love to have you here participating. Create an atmosphere of safety and security, just consistently reiterating that we understand what's going on, and so this is what we were doing about it. Make sure all the kids had their masks on. That was just really fantastic. And make it easy to succeed. So the guys for that troop, they had badge counselors. I put budget for some reason, sorry guys. Badge counselors available there. So they're getting kind of that quick turnaround of acknowledgement for the work that they put in for, maybe going a little bit out of their way to come to the meeting. And they love getting those badges and things like that. And just we have to be flexible. That's kind of the biggest thing right now, because the buildings are not open. We don't know, we are in such a good trajectory right now, but things could kind of reverse. That's okay. We'll just do what we can when it's available, and we'll kind of go from there. I think that's pretty much it. I don't know if anybody has any questions.
Yeah. I want to end the meeting with Brian answered Richard's question here. It says, we organize our groups, which is in our case was our patrols, under the number of 10, and allowed the scouts to move between those groups somewhat. But we felt so long as our groups were under 10, had sufficient distance between them, we were working under the spirit of the rule. And lastly, one of the things that I put out to all of the parents for the Cubs is something very personal. and there was a long email because it was the first email, but I'll read you the short paragraph that was pretty much my testimonial. Our Cub Scout program focuses on teamwork, outdoor skills, leadership, citizenship, kindness, fun, and helping others at all times. And I put this: we certainly could use these values right now. Scouts are needed in every corner of our country. It has changed my life and the many lives of our parents and adult leaders who were Scouts before. It is also a great break from schoolwork and espouses a methodology that children learn best by doing. So we will end the presentation there. If you have questions, just let us know or text me. And I want to help everyone. I'll forward you emails that I've sent out. I'll text you that video, whatever we can do to help. But right now, we adult leaders, we are much needed in our communities. And I don't think this is going to get any, I think it's going to get uglier from now until election day, and then it'll settle down. But, our kids need something positive like this. So that's it. Thank you, Neil. Thank you, everyone.
COVID-19 is not going away for a long time. As much as we want it to, that's going to be something we're dealing with all the time. So, hey, you guys may have not set up the Central Park experience, but that's why I have you. That's the Roundtable team that just presented to you guys. Aren't they brilliant? A big round of applause. And for all the presenters so far, brilliant stuff. Okay.
Brian's on camera. Brian's the guy who leads Troop 662, and I was just so impressed. My boys were so happy to see their friends. I owe this guy a lot, so please recognize him. It was an amazing time in Central Park.
That's very nice of you, Antonio, but we know that you're really the gas that drives the engine, so thank you.
Really, really pushy.
Compliments all around. I like it. All right. So I'm supposed to take a moment here to kind of break it up a little bit and give us something else before we move on to the great District Director Jason Toledano and his GNYC news, some of which has been covered. But I'm going to do a little bit of campfire basics. You guys may remember that a little bit in the spring. And this time we all decided that I would go back to teaching the bold song. So I want everybody to be involved in this. Now, it's really weird on Zoom to do anything that's singing, but I don't mind chaos in this particular kind of song. So you guys can actually all unmute yourselves. It'll be total chaos, and that's okay because I don't care on this one, right? And we're just trying to do the experience. And I'm going to talk about the bold song. So there are multiple elements of a campfire, and I'm sure all of you have talked about this a little bit with your leadership in your particular troop and in your Cubs, right? But the concept of putting a program together for a campfire is literally follows the form of the campfire. That's the idea that we're always trying to do. That's the metaphor, right? So when you're teaching the bold song in theory is what goes along when the fire is flaming, right? When you just put on, no one wants to admit this, but I'm sure the TMR staff does it all the time. There's a little bit of extra liquid on those campfires so that they explode very fast at the beginning. I'm sure it happens, but nobody knows. We're not
Anybody on TMR staff has the right to remain silent right now.
And the fire goes up and it flames, and that's the moment at which you do this kind of song, right? And then the other thing about it is there's kind of like, the first thing is you need to model any kind of song like this first. And then untrue. So that needs to then, the next thing that has to happen after the model is you need to teach it so that the scouts and everybody feels comfortable, right? And then the final thing is you need to perform it so they can all get used to it. A repeat after me song or a response and call song can be very effective. I like the response and call song because it's a model in itself. It kind of encases everything. So I'm going to do a song that maybe some of you have heard. This song is called Che Che Kule. It actually comes from a Namibian call and response song that the young men used to call across actually large distances, and people would respond to it and create the song from there. It's fun, and the scouts seem to love it. So I'm going to go from there, and I'm going to show you kind of how I encase all these things together, those 3 ideas of building the bold song, along with the big fire that's flaming right now and doesn't have any extra gas on it. All right, so here we go. So everybody can unmute, and you can do this with me. I'm going to have some physical actions. You're all welcome to unmute. If you don't want to unmute, that's fine too, but I don't mind chaos. I want to hear sound. So you can all unmute, and you can do the sound with me, and you're all welcome to it. Chaos is good in this particular world. So you have to repeat after me, and it goes like this. This is
like
a
this.
repeat after me song.
This is a repeat after me song.
And this is what you have to do.
And this is what you have to do.
You have to say what I say.
You have to say what I say.
Do what I do.
And do what I do.
I said a che cooley.
A
che cofisa. Cofisa longa.
Cofisa longa.
Longa chumanga.
Longa chumanga.
Ayele.
Hey,
Say it one more time.
one more time.
Say it che cooley.
Che cooley.
Che cofisa. Cofisa longa.
Cofisa longa.
Longa chumanga.
Longa chumanga.
Ayele. One last time.
One last time.
So everyone can hear us in our home.
So everyone can hear us in our home.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Get a che cooley.
Che cooley.
Che cofisa.
Cofisa.
Cofisa longa.
Cofisa longa.
Longa chumanga.
Longa chumanga.
Ayele. Woo, yeah.
That was awesome.
All right, moving on to Mr. District Director Jason Toledano. Give us the news.
Excellent. So I'll be brief. 3 things to consider. I had sent out an email to many unit leaders about 8 things that you need to focus on going to the fall. Here are 3 really important ones that we haven't covered already. Your units cannot meet in person until you submit a Restart Scouting Safely plan. Many of you have already done so. Some of you have just received a sample plan. Make sure that when you submit this plan, you also include a calendar of dates so that we know for which dates and which activities this plan, for which this plan is relevant. Many of you have heard about our popcorn campaign. This year, we are primarily doing it via sales. If you have not yet expressed interest to myself or to Sam Howard, please do so. It does not take a lot of effort to sell popcorn online. If you're trying to sell popcorn door to door, it's way more difficult than just putting a link on Facebook or sending it off to people. The reward might not be as much, but the amount of work is much less than you would have otherwise. Thanks to Troop 1, who will be selling popcorn this year. And finally, if you haven't heard already, we have a recruitment campaign, a couple of incentives for scouts who bring their friends out. Every scout who recruits another scout will receive a patch that I will, I'll put a link here based off of everything that I just said. But the patch is available online. And for Cub Scouts who recruit 3 or more, the Cub Scout will receive a free rank kit, that annual rank kit that we talked about. You can receive a free one by recruiting 3 of your friends to the Scout program. For additional incentives and for troops, please establish your own incentive, because the best and easiest way to recruit for a unit is to have someone bring their friends. It's a social environment, so that if a new person comes by and they already know somebody there, they'll have a much higher likelihood of staying, rather than if it's a completely new environment, it might scare someone off because they don't know anybody there, especially in a virtual environment. So if you need to be recruiting this fall, please have your scouts invite their scouts. I'll post some links in there, but now I'd like to welcome Wayne, who's going to talk a little bit about camping and program.
Hey, Jason. Thank you, everybody, for having me as part of your roundtable tonight. I just wanted to give you a couple camping updates. We are open for family camping at Alpine and at 10 Mile River. If you have any families that are interested in coming out and renting our normal camping facilities, so tent sites, lean-to sites, cabins, if you're looking to get out of the city for a weekend and want to come out with your family, we had our first family from 777 actually come out to Alpine this past weekend. They had a fantastic time, so we had our first weekend family camp at Alpine. We've been running family camping at TMR all summer, which has been hugely successful. Information for that is on our website. You can book just like you would book for a troop or a pack, booking weekend facilities at our camps. If you have individual questions about that or want to know more information, please feel free to reach out about it. We're not yet open for unit camping. We are working hard with the state of New York, the Department of Health in New Jersey, and the city for Camp Pouch to be able to get unit camping back up and running and open. We've created a plan that we're submitting to them to say this is how we can do unit camping safely and get you guys back out in the woods. So we're working with them to make sure we can do that, as well as the other councils in New York. We're kind of creating a team to go at the state of New York as a united front. Questions on family camping or unit camping or anything camping related from the group? Cool. I did want to touch briefly on the Scouts BSA program that will parallel the rank kit program. It will be based on activity days at camp. We are putting together advancement-based days focused around a theme that will take place at Alpine and at Pouch for individuals or patrols to come out and take advantage of working towards different parts of mostly tenderfoot second class and first class rank requirements. Think about it very similarly to the first year camper program at TMR in the summer, but broken down into days where they can come out to camp. Scouts will have the opportunity to work on a bunch of different rank requirements. We're also going to throw in some merit badge program there as well, but we'll all be in person at camp based. There won't really be a virtual program associated with it. We really want to make sure we can get Scouts out to camp where they belong. More to come on that. There will be an email coming out at the end of the week detailing that program, as well as some more family camping information. Also on the call tonight is Jocelyn Aviles, who has been our director at Cub World for the last few summers and is working with us to help create these Cub programs, these Scouts BSA programs, and our weekend camping activities. Jocelyn, did you have anything you wanted to add about the Cub Scout Rank Kit weekend program?
Hey guys, thank you for having me on your call. I started sort of answering Anna's question in the chat, but definitely check out our outdoor adventure days. They're going to be outdoor family fun days. They're going to alternate between Pouch and Alpine. They're going to be themed. The cost is $20 per scout. The adult that's with them does not pay because it's all geared towards the youth, as Kim mentioned earlier. And the days start October 3rd. So on October 3rd, we'll be up at Alpine. The following weekend, on the 10th, we'll be at Pouch. 17th, Alpine, 24 Pouch, and so on and so forth. This is going to continue on until the 21st. We end at Alpine because then we're going to Thanksgiving. And, we're going to be covering a lot of hiking, a lot of outdoor skills, the cooking, all the things that is really hard for you to do with your units in the city and virtually. They'll be able to come with their families and have a great family day. Even if they, if you have someone that's kind of on the fence and they don't know, this is a great recruitment tool as well. You can always invite them to come for the day to camp so they can get a feel, because this is an activity they do as a family. And they'll be moving around camp as a family. Granted that you could have a pack that has 4 families on the property, but they can't be together. They're all going to be moving around and working together as a family. Does anybody have questions about that?
Does anybody have any other questions about camping in general or getting outside with your units? It was also mentioned in the chat, thank you, Jocelyn. We have opened both Alpine and Pouch for unit meetings. If your troop or your pack wants to come out for an evening or for part of a day to rent a facility, a lean-to, a campsite, to come have a unit meeting, we'd be more than happy to help host you. We've created some very reasonable pricing to come out for 2 hours or 3 hours at a time to get some outdoor time if you're not able to meet where your unit usually meets. So if you have questions about that, there's also some information that will be coming out about that at the end of the week, but something we just launched. Thanks, Justin.
Question on that.
Sure.
I was looking on the website today, and it did not look like the Red and Tan is stopping at camp any longer.
I don't know about that. That's a question we'd have to look into, I guess, with Port Authority.
Yeah, because the bus stops at Alpine, but it does not have a place to stop for the scout camp, and it used to.
Yeah,
so I know
it stops across the street. Sorry, Wayne.
Go ahead, Jocelyn.
So the bus usually would take you from the bridge up to right across the road from camp.
It doesn't have it on the schedule anymore.
So I'll have to check. I'll touch base with Scott and see if maybe they changed it recently. Because up until
they used to have a stop for Alpine and then one for the Alpine Scout Camp, and Alpine Scout Camp does not appear on their schedule.
I'll check with Scott and email Jason so he can distribute it to you guys to just find out if they changed to their schedule, because that was the case previously.
And a question on the unit meetings out there.
Yeah.
Are they unit meetings, or are we considering that we have to have the family there for the meeting?
So it would be a unit meeting. It falls into, you still have to have the unit restart plan submitted and approved and fall under your unit meeting guidelines.
Yeah, so you want to make sure that you have that restart plan submitted and approved. And the tricky part is that although it is a unit meeting, the transportation cannot be done as a unit. Each family would, you'd have to get up there separately. And whether that means public transportation or what have you. But you can't have one leader taking up 8 kids. But the proper...
I'd also like to mention that sorry, Jocelyn. I've taken the bus to Alpine after they removed it from the schedule. You just tell the driver that you're going to Alpine Scout Camp. It costs about $7.10 to go there. You should still be able to go there.
Oh, so maybe they just took it off of the schedule.
Thanks, Jason.
Great, you guys. Thank you, Jocelyn. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you, Jason. That's all the news that's fit to speak about at the Roundtable. Not quite fit to print, I guess, but fit.
Thanks for having us, Neil.
Thank you so much.
Good. So right now, actually, we've been having a really organic talk that's been going on, which is what I love. But this is the moment at which we can move to Luis Feliciano. I always get it wrong. And it's Maldonado, I think, is the middle name, right?
Maldonado is my second last name.
That's your second last name? So Luis Feliciano Maldonado. I got it right that time, right? Okay. He's the commissioner. Before we do that, I want to take one moment to recognize something that's very unusual about this particular roundtable. We have, if he's still here, I was looking for him, the younger Cachato, right? Richard's son, right? I'm assuming. Is he there still? Is he on the call anymore? Oh, yes, he is. Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to say that, like, we always invite the older leadership of a troop. And I really like, obviously, Richard, you're here, and your son probably came along for the ride, but he probably has a leadership position in the troop as well.
Well, actually, what happened is at the last meeting, they wanted to introduce the new lodge chief. And Alexander is the new lodge chief.
Well, there's a great reason to say congratulations, lodge chief, the new one, and also thank you for coming to the roundtable, because we're always trying to encourage the SPLs, the leadership corps, to come to the roundtables. It's very useful information, and he represents multiple things. So awesome. All right, I'm going to turn it over to you, Luis. It's yours.
So before we jump into the open forum, I would like to point out a few things. So today is actually the International Day of Peace. And as many of you know, we have on the Scouts the Messages of Peace program. So this is a great program right now also to do a service project with your unit. Worldwide, since the start of the pandemic, around 300 million hours of service have been done under Messages of Peace on COVID help projects. If you have any projects that are worthy of being recognized and that you want the BSA to share in social media, I'll share this link where you can submit your projects in here. And you can also get your Message of Peace patch for your scouts. A great place that you can see a lot of what scouts around the world are doing is going to scout.org. In here, you can also share your projects with other scouts around the world and learn what they are doing. You can see here a lot of different scouts from Sudan, Ethiopia, and other places around the world. And if you need a little bit more of inspiration, a few years ago, the World Organization of the Scout Movement signed an agreement with the United Nations to promote the Sustainable Development Goals. You can go to sdgs.scout.org. You can see all the different goals. And if you click on them, you can find examples of projects that you can do in your community and things that you can basically a to-do list of ideas for different projects. So this is something very helpful. And of course, today being the International Day of Peace, it's a great day to get started on this. One thing I wanted to point it out, as you notice, our roundtable is being recorded. We are posting our roundtables in YouTube for anybody that wants to rewatch it. And you can go in and you can find all the links that we share in here. You can find it on the description of the video. For those that are watching us on YouTube, we stopped the recording right before the open forum. So if you want to participate on the open forum, make sure that you are joining us live. You can subscribe to our mailing list to join us live.